Annette, and we work in Parma. Because of COVID, people are eating at home more, and a lot of people probably haven't ever used an Instant Pot or got one for Christmas and it's still sitting in the box. We want to show you today how easy it is to use the Instant Pot, how safe it is to use an Instant Pot, and make a beautiful Sunday dinner for the fall. You'll be able to serve it to your family and friends and wow them. This is really easy, it's good for a beginner, and it's a really nice meal. First, we're going to show you a little bit about the Instant Pot. Take it away, Shelly.
Okay, so basically an Instant Pot is a pressure cooker. We all know that our moms and grandmas had the old kind that they put on the stove. This one is electric, so everything you do just is in one pot. You can saute, you can pressure cook, obviously. You can use it as a roaster. You can use it as a crock pot. It's virtually 7 different things in one. So you see here that you can make soups, meats and stews, cakes, which Annette will make one here in a little bit. You can make some eggs, you can rice. I've used it to make oatmeal. A lot of people use it to make their homemade yogurts in. I've made spaghetti in it. I've made pulled chicken in it. I've made macaroni and cheese.
Anything you could do in your crock pot, you can pretty much do in your Instant Pot, but it's a lot faster than a crock pot, and it's a lot more tender than a crock pot, really fast.
Yeah, it's in a fraction of the time. It's so simple. When I first got one, I was so afraid to use it, but it has become my best used tool in the kitchen. I use it all the time.
I feel like Ron Popeil, you can set it and forget it.
Yeah,
you just walk away from it. When I put my regular pressure cooker on the stove, like my grandma pressure cooker, you have to be careful because you can't let it get too hot. If you get it too hot, it could explode. So you have to wait till it comes up to temperature, then you got to turn it down, then you got to time it. This does everything for you. All you're going to do is dump it in the pot, set what you need, and walk away from it. Even if you're not standing there when it goes back off, it'll automatically release the pressure and keep it warm depending on how long you have it set for. It's awesome. No babysitting required.
No. So there's a couple things that you need to know about Instant Pot. When you first open it up, you're going to release it. So inside it's all metal, so you don't want to use really anything metal on the inside. It comes with the metal pan. Then it always comes with some sort of trivet. This is what you're going to use to put your meat on.
Or your cake.
Or your cake. And then it'll come with a little nozzle for your sealing and your venting, which Annette will talk about that. And then it always comes with a little knob that when the pressure is done building, that little knob will pop up. And then you'll just sort of lock it into place. You'll set the time, and that's all you really need to do. It's so super simple. So I'm going to step aside, and Annette is going to make her cake. And then when she's done, I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you how to make a delicious pork loin.
I'm going to make a cinnamon apple cake, and we're actually going to make it in the crock pot and in a springform pan. It doesn't have to be a springform pan. I just like using one because it's super easy to get it out. You can use a 6-inch or you can use a 7-inch springform. This is a 6. I actually prefer the 7, but I must have lent it to my kids. When I went for it today, it was gone. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get the pan ready. This is Pam, that's baking Pam. It's already got the flour in it. If you didn't have this, you could just take oil and just shake flour into your pan. But this kind of makes it super simple because it's kind of a 2-in-1. Okay, pan is ready. All right, first we're going to get our dry ingredients. This is 1.5 cups of flour. When I add any kind of salt or baking soda, baking powder kind of stuff, I always like to put it in a strainer so I don't get lumps. If you've ever been at your grandma's house and you got that big lump of baking soda in something, this is what I'm trying to prevent. Okay, we're going to put 1/2 teaspoon of salt in here. And 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. And I just take the back of my spoon and I knock, see the lumps? Be just my luck, my grandma would find that and I'd hear about it the rest of my life. So we always put it through the sieve. This off to the side. Stir these two together. Okay, now we're going to work on our wet ingredients. We have 3/4 cup of sugar in here. We're going to add 2 eggs. This is a 1/2 cup of vegetable oil. This is 2 tablespoons of orange juice concentrate. You can use just regular orange juice, but I like the concentrate because I actually like the flavor of the orange in the cake. It actually makes it really good. So I just take my orange juice that I buy in the store, like the frozen stuff, and I put it in two tablespoon measures in my freezer. So when I want it, all I have to do is add it all together. This is vanilla. Need a teaspoon of vanilla. I'm not one of those cooks that measures pretty much. And before you ask, those are vanilla beans in there. I make my own vanilla. That's what the beans are. I didn't want to have to get 100 questions about that. All right, we're going to whisk all this together. Just till it's combined really good. And the sugar starts to dissolve. And then we're going to add this to the dry ingredients. This is going to be a little bit thick. If you're used to using a cake mix, they're usually pretty runny. This one's going to be pretty thick. And make sure you go all the way to the bottom because there's always flour hanging out down there that didn't get mixed in. See, it's almost like cookie batter. It's almost that thick. Okay. In this bag, I have 3 cups of diced apples. All I did was peel them, core them, and dice them into little cubes. 2 tablespoons of sugar and a teaspoon and a half of cinnamon. I did this ahead, so I added the cinnamon so that they wouldn't brown. I didn't want brown. Okay, we're going to take our cake pan. We're going to put in half the cake batter. It's not going to sit there. I'll show you what it looks like. It's not going to roll like it does when it's regular. It's not going to be liquidy, so you just have to take your spoon and move it around a little bit. Just like that. And we're going to take half this bag of apples and we're going to sprinkle them on top. That's about half. Just use your spoon and move them around so that you get apples all the way around, just like that. And we're going to put the other half of the cake batter in. Move it around with the spoon again. A little bit trickier this time because you're kind of going over the top of the apples and they want to stick. And then we're going to pour in the other half of the apples. So have apples through the middle of the cake and you'll have apples on the top of the cake. Kind of make it pretty. Just spread them around. Okay, now comes the fun part. This is a paper towel. You take the paper towel and you put it across the top of the cake pan. You take a rubber band and you're going to make a little hat out of it. It's going to kind of seal the paper towel on top. Now, you can do it this way or you can add foil. Some people like to add foil if they are really worried about getting a lot of moisture in the cake. I've done it this way and it works, but the foil would be fine too. Now we're going to come to our Instant Pot. Open them up. I've already got the trivet in the bottom. You're going to put the cake on the trivet, and we're going to pour the water around, and then we're going to seal him. See, I told you, it's super simple. It's almost foolproof. This is just regular tap water. A little bit of oil in it, evidently. Okay. We're going to take the top. You hear the little music? It tells you if you're doing it right or wrong. If you do it right, it's going to be playing music and all of a sudden it's going to stop. You did the right thing. Okay, we're going to go to manual, which is the bottom button here. And we're going to set it for 60 minutes. Looks like it's 60 already. And it's going to start all by itself. It's amazing. See? It's going to sit and pressurize itself. It takes about 5 minutes to come to pressure. And all of a sudden you'll see this little button up here pop up. That means the pressure's on. After 60 minutes, it's going to shut itself off. And then we'll show you what to do next. I'm going to change places with Shelly so we can socially distance. And she's going to do the pork roast.
Okay, everybody, I'm going to make for you the spiced orange pork roast. So I have my Instant Pot here. It looks a little bit different than Annette's, but it works exactly the same way. I have my trivet that I'm going to put my pork roast on. You always want to make sure that the handles go up and then you just place it inside. I always use gloves when I'm handling raw meat. That way I'm transferring any germs from the raw meat into anything else that I'm touching. So you're going to put your pork roast, and this one's about 2 pounds to 2.5 pounds. You're going to put it fat side up into your Instant Pot, and then I'm just going to take my gloves off so far because I've touched raw meat and I don't want to touch anything else with them. So I'm just going to take them off and I'm going to set them aside. And then what I'm going to do is around the pork roast on the bottom, I'm going to pour in half a cup of water. So I'll just put that around the bottom. And then on top of the pork roast, I'm going to sprinkle 1 tablespoon of salt. And that may seem like a lot, but because this is 2 pounds of roast, it's not going to seem like a lot at all. You're not going to notice the salt. And then 1 teaspoon of pepper. So I'm just going to sprinkle that right on top. And then I'm going to also sprinkle on top, let's see, about half a teaspoon of allspice. I don't measure when I'm cooking. I just like, oh yep, that looks like half a teaspoon to me. And then I'm going to do 1 teaspoon of thyme. I may do a little bit of extra thyme because I really like thyme. So that'll pour into my hand, and yeah, that looks like a little bit more than a teaspoon, and that's fine. If I rub it together within my fingers or even within my hands, what that will do is that will release some of the oils of the thyme and give it more flavor. So as I'm sprinkling that on, I'll just rub it in between my hands. And then I'll also need 1/4 of a teaspoon of ground cloves. So that'll go directly on the pork as well. And then on top of the pork, I'll need half a cup of orange marmalade, and I'm just going to dollop that on. I'm going to make sure that it doesn't go down the sides and into the water. So I'm just going to do some dollops. This smells really good. I love orange marmalade. Smooth that out a bit. And then on the bottom around the pork roast with the water, I'm going to do 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. I prefer low sodium soy sauce because we're already adding 2 tablespoons of salt to the pork roast. So I just do a little bit on each side. So that's about 2 tablespoons. Okay. So it says that it's on. I'm gonna pressure cook to make sure I have the pressure cooker on. And then I'm gonna turn my time to 30 minutes. And then it's all set. I'm gonna wait about, again, 5 minutes for my little pressure cooker knob to pop up, and at that point, that's when the cooking is actually going to start. So I'm gonna step aside, and Annette's gonna show you how to make our side dish, which is some candied yams.
Hi, it's me again. We've got the cake working, we've got the pot roast, or the pork roast working. Let's make a side dish. We're gonna do Instant Pot candied yams. What goes better on a nice fall day than some nice candied yams? This is one of those simple ingredients, simple recipes. All you're gonna do is throw it in the pot. This is a bag full of about 3 to 4 decent sized sweet potatoes. I cut them in half, I peeled them, and then I just cut them into slices about that big. This is a whole stick of butter. Yes, I'm a Southern cook. Gotta have the butter. I'm gonna put the butter in the pot. This is 1 cup of granulated sugar. This is a half a cup brown sugar. Try and get the lumps out. Okay, now comes the good stuff. These are ground cloves. We're gonna use 1/4 teaspoon. A half a teaspoon of nutmeg. One teaspoon of cinnamon. And 1/4 teaspoon of ginger. Ginger is one of those things you don't want to go too heavy on because it can be pretty pungent. That the cloves too. Best way to ruin a pumpkin pie is to add too much cloves to it. Ask me how I know. Okay. In the pot, we're going to put a half a cup of water, a teaspoon of vanilla. Shelly was asking me a minute ago how you make vanilla. You take decent quality vanilla beans, you put them in something similar to this, and you fill the bottle with vodka. And you let it sit for a couple of months, and you get vanilla extract. All right, take all the good stuff, pour it over the top, toss it around a little bit. Just to kind of coat the potatoes a little bit. You don't want it all sitting in one spot. Okay, let's put the top on. Sometimes putting the top on is the hardest part of the whole process. It only goes on one way. If you don't do it right, it's gonna make you start over. Okay, I've got it on pressure cook, and I've got it set for 15 minutes. And all we're gonna do is start it. Ta-da! Okay, we're back. All of the Instant Pots have finished cooking and all the pressure has been released naturally. So now it's time for the big reveal.
Okay, let's first talk, I think, a little bit about the difference between what's called a natural release and a quick release.
Okay.
Most recipes will call for a natural release, which is when the pressure inside the Instant Pot will release the pressure on its own. This usually takes about anywhere between 20 and 40 minutes, depending on how much you have inside of the Instant Pot itself. Quick release means that you have this little knob, usually in the back or the side of your Instant Pot. When you first turn your Instant Pot on, you're going to seal it. When it's done cooking, some of the recipes will say you want to quick release it. What that means, you're going to turn the knob towards the venting part, and that will instantaneously start releasing the pressure that the Instant Pot has built up.
Very important not to put your hand over it because you're going to have a steam burn. You have to keep your finger on the knob and turn the knob to release. Don't put your hand anywhere near that steam.
Oftentimes, I will use actually like an oven mitt, and I will stand at least 1 or 2 feet away from that as I'm doing it because that is super hot, and the steam will shoot up probably 1 or 2 feet in the air. So you just want to be extra careful when you're doing any sort of quick release with your recipes. All of the ones we have done are natural release, and they took about 20 to 30 minutes each. So I think you're going to start off with showing them the
Let's take out the cake. Hopefully this works.
And then another thing that's really important about the Instant Pot, since they all have, all the ones that I've seen at least, all have the metal insert to them. You don't want to use anything metal when taking your food out. You either want to use a metal or plastic utensil or a wooden utensil. Don't use anything metal because you'll scrape it and that will ruin the inside of your Instant Pot. Ta-da! That looks delicious. not gonna lie, it looks delicious and it smells delicious.
Oh, it smells really good. Okay. We're gonna call that a success.
Yes.
You want to do the pot roast next or the pork roast?
Sure. There's a little extra water in there, but that's just because of the steam. Set the lid aside. And the lid is going to be very hard inside too. This is why the trivet is useful. So I have a plate behind me. So I'll set that on the plate and then I'll slide it off. Okay. There we go. There's the pork roast. Then inside, if you want to, the soy sauce in the water made a delicious sauce that when you cut it, you can serve right over your slices of pork.
You can thicken it up if you wanted to with the slurry. Okay, let's see what happened in this one. Oh my goodness, look how much they cooked down. That's awesome. Oh, those smell good. Okay. They're just falling apart. They're awesome. So there you have it.
3 easy meals done in the Instant Pot. I think overall it probably took us, the cake took us an hour to make, and then about 20 minutes with the natural release. So about an hour and 20 minutes for that. The pork took half an hour to make, and then again about 20 minutes with the natural release. So about 50 minutes for that. And then the potatoes took 15, and then about 10 minutes for the natural release. For the potatoes, you can always do a quick release. I don't think that's a big issue. For the meat and the cake, I would only do the natural release. Let's dig it because this all looks so delicious.
It smells wonderful.
Yes.
So there's your quick, easy Sunday dinner. The cake can be done the day before. They say that the cake actually gets better the next day. So that would be a good thing to do like on Saturday. Sunday morning, do your roast, do the potatoes. You've got a meal.
Yeah.
But after church, you're done.
Yep. If you want to know more about these recipes that we cooked, just leave us a comment, or you can probably just call us at the Farmer Ranch. The library has lots of Instant Pot books. We have 2 here that we just got here at the branch. You can go online. There's like millions of them online. But yeah, if you just want to see more, let us know. We'll be happy to show you all the easy recipes you can do.
We could do Instant Pot. We could try different appliances. We might even see if other people in JDL want to come in and cook with us. We enjoyed doing this. We enjoy cooking. We'd like to show you guys how easy it is to make a meal for your family.
Yes.
COVID style.
Yep. Thank you guys.
Thanks.